I recently read the book The 4-Hour Chef. Now you're probably wondering why I'm doing a review on a cookbook for a productivity YouTube channel. Well, it turns out this is a cookbook for learning any skill, not just cooking. The author Tim Ferriss picked cooking because cooking uses all 5 senses. You need it 3 times a day, and it has stumped Tim for many, many years. Now Tim isn't easily stumped. He's actually a pretty prolific learner. Several years ago, he went to China to learn kickboxing, and within 2 months, he was able to win the National Chinese Kickboxing Championship. He recently developed a TV show called The Tim Ferriss Experiment, where he learns a new skill every week. Skills like drumming, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and poker. It's actually really surprising how far he gets with each skill. And he does so by applying the system from this book. The same system that he applied to learn cooking, you can apply to any skill of your choice. You can use this approach, this method, to master a skill within 6 to 12 months. Tim defines mastery as being in the top 5% of the world. This means you could learn a new skill that would ensure a promotion at your job, or you could learn a skill that would differentiate you from other entrepreneurs in a particular niche you're working in. I've used Tim's methods to help read books faster and create these videos. What I found after reading Tim's book and applying his principles for many months is that how you initiate the skill development process will largely determine how well and how fast you advance with that skill. When you start learning a task, every minute counts. You don't want to be wasting your time or effort on low return activities. You need to start the process by gathering an inventory of components and sub-skills that you'll need to know to master the skill. Then you need to assess that list and find the things that you can use right away, give you results, and provide you with a feeling of competency. For example, when you're tackling a language, it doesn't make sense to just start off learning just any list of words. It makes sense to start off with the highest frequency words, the words that are used most often during conversation. So look at the English language. It has over 1 million words. If you're not selective with where you're starting, you could be wasting a lot of time. But if you are selective, you could find the 100 words that are used more than half the time during conversation. Over the years, Tim has found that learning a few auxiliary verbs when learning a language, the verbs to be, to have, to go, and to do, in different tenses, can allow you to express almost any idea in that language. By focusing on the high-frequency items that give you early access to feelings of competency, you are more likely to have the confidence to go out and actually use the skill. When Tim applied this to cooking, he found that the most important thing in cooking is taste. Tim asked himself, what are the biggest things that contribute to taste? And which of those things can I benefit from right away? Tim searched through a collection of the best cookbooks and interviewed some of the best chefs, searching for the highest frequency items regarding taste. Tim found that there was a select few herbs that the best chefs in the world use all the time. By discovering the most frequent pairings of these herbs with certain food, he would appear like a competent chef. He could reap the rewards of cooking with very little time spent cooking, thus reinforcing his desire to continue to learn and master cooking. Once he found out that fish with dill or fennel, pork with rosemary, lamb with mint, and tomatoes with basil were optimal combinations, he could wow his guests with tastes, and he'd only been cooking for a few weeks. The best way to discover these high-value, early return activities is to search out the best resources on the subject. Try to find expert resources that seem to contradict one another, a conventional method and an unconventional method, and find the highest frequency items that can give you the most return for your initial time. Tim also recommends interviewing a series of experts. He recommends interviewing world-class people, but that doesn't mean interviewing the best in the world. Sometimes a silver medalist is just as good as the gold medalist, and they're much more willing to offer their time to help you. When interviewing these world-class performers, you should ask them the following questions. If I needed to perform at this skill at a high level, and had only 20% of the time that you consider ideal, what would you have me work on? And also ask them, what do you see most novices do that you consider to be the biggest waste of time? When learning a new skill, the initial hours, weeks, and days are critical to you sticking with that skill. If you can experience an easy win, an early return, and a feeling of competency, then you increase the odds of you mastering that skill. That was just one of the many ideas that I gathered from Tim's book. Tim's section on meta-learning is some of the best accelerated learning material that I've ever seen. I highly recommend getting his book to dive deeper into the process. But if you would like a one-page PDF summary of the other insights that I gathered from Tim's method, just click the link below and I'd be happy to email it to you. If you already subscribed to the free Productivity Game newsletter, this PDF is already in your inbox. Thanks for watching.